Racism, colorism, and every other kind of ism, classism, they're all connected. They may have different triggers, they may have different visual cues, but they're all based on systems and structures that have been put in place to keep one party, one entity in a position of authority and control, and the other one isn't. And because that other entity isn't, this party takes advantage of that party. I have lighter skin. I am browner. Me a browning. So where the black gal go? Yeah, colorism. It's just an ism. It's just an offshoot of racism. And it does not matter if the oppressor is white, Chinese, or black. It's the same thing.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I want to thank you guys for helping me so far with the subscription, with the views. If it wasn't for you, I would have not reached this far. Continue supporting me, continue being with me. I hope you are enjoying my content, and I want to thank you all for the support. So today we are going to talk about racism, colorism, and classism in Jamaica. So Jamaica is going through so many things, and I have a video here that this person took it back during COVID-19. So this lady speaks about how hard Jamaicans find it to fight through colorism, racism, and classism. So she was really oppressed by the things Jamaicans normally do to themselves, to their fellow Jamaicans, or even to the Jamaicans, the things that the whites normally do to the Jamaicans that are in abroad. So I want us to listen to her, and we'll get back and discuss it.
Hi guys, how y'all doing? I've thought very long and hard before doing this video, simply because I don't think I have the words to truly articulate what it is I'm feeling. It's been a rough couple of months for those of us who've been dealing with Corona, and it has been compounded by the last 2 weeks of racial tension and riots, and we've seen the images whether we want it to or not. Before I get into what I wanted to say, I just want to acknowledge anybody out there who is feeling extremely overwhelmed. You feel bombarded, you're feeling confused. For some of you, you might have gone through different emotions, maybe mixed emotions between just sadness, anger, just a plethora. I just want to let you know that you're not alone, that there are many of us who feel the way you do. Some of us may show it differently, or hide it differently, or cope differently. But certainly if you're feeling heavy, or you're feeling like you can't manage anymore, or you can't take anymore, get some help. Reach out. And even if you don't want to reach out to people who you know for fear of being judged, there are different hotlines that are set up, I think under the Jamaica Moves and under the Ministry of Health and Wellness, that you can reach out to if you feel more comfortable speaking to somebody who you don't know. So I just want to get very quickly into what I just wanted to say, and I think it's important for me just to kind of get off my chest for my own mental health. Number one, it is amazing and it's fantastic to see the solidarity that went across borders. In France, there were some 200,000 persons who came out in acknowledgement of racism and the agreement that it needs to be fought. And we saw these different kinds of mobilizations and executions all over the world. Yesterday, people put up black squares, and we promoted, or we spoke in some way to celebrate or uplift our communities. And there are other conversations that took place in the space. So there were people who were saying, the solidarity is good and everything, but that is America problem. That racism thing is America problem. So why we are run up and you know, come together for America's problem. For those persons, and I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. This is where all views can contend. For me, I would say that I'd remind you that we're about 2.8 million in the island. There are about 7 million Jamaicans in the diaspora, of which we know most of them are in the United States of America. Most of us, if not all of us, have a friend, we have a relative, we have a family member, somebody who lives, works, or studies in the United States of America. Which means that when a country has race relations, when a country has a history of denying people their basic human rights because of the color of their skin, that automatically puts our friends and relatives who live, work, and study in the United States or any other country that has race relations, puts them at risk, puts them in danger. It means that another video that could circulate around the place could very well have been your next door neighbor or the girl you went to primary school with. So understand that it isn't their problem and our problem is our problem. It is all linked. We are all linked in this situation. For those of us who have the privilege, I suppose, of traveling, going to other countries, whether you're going to the United States of America or you're going to other countries that forces you to pass through the United States of America, we are affected as well. I, Terry Carell, could have been going to a conference in the United States of America, or maybe I'm spending 2 days over heading to another country. People don't care whether I'm Jamaican or not. They don't know that I'm Caribbean. As far as I'm concerned, I'm black, and that could possibly make me a target. Therefore, I'm just showing you that there's still a correlation. Now, does it mean that we are not to look at what is happening in our backyard? Of course not. Racism, colorism, and every other kind of ism, classism, they're all connected. They may have different triggers, they may have different visual cues, but they're all based on systems and structures that have been put in place to keep one party, one entity in a position of authority and control, and the other one isn't. And because that other entity isn't, this party takes advantage of that party. I have lighter skin. I am browner. Me a browning. So where the black gal go? Yeah, colorism. It's just an ism. It's just an offshoot of racism. And it does not matter if the oppressor is white, Chinese, or black. It's the same thing. So we're not gonna pretend like in Jamaica we do not have problems with colorism. We aren't gonna pretend that we do not have schools, we do not have communities, we do not have cliques that thrive on the idea and the existence that we are we look how the way we look, we have what we have, and y'all black people out there stay over there in a country, in an island that is predominantly black and was fought and reclaimed by black people. So let's not get it twisted that we don't have people who look a certain color, who trod on people's human rights every single day right here because of the color of their skin. Do not even pretend like we do not have criminal injustices and that there aren't black bodies right here in Jamaica that are treated with less respect and less regard simply because of where that person lives, who that person is, the education or the lack of education of that person, the fact that they may not be employed, the fact that they may not be in the best of circumstances makes them a target and makes them expendable. Let's not pretend. So while we're putting up our black squares and we're putting up our hashtags for other people in other countries, please do not forget that we have a whole heap of ghetto youth, male and female, who have disappeared in the night simply because nobody cared. They were not valuable enough because our systems and our structures tell us they're not worthy. Ghetto, garrison, who cares? Them not do nothing anyway. Them not contribute anyway. And those are the same sort of ideas, ideologies, and philosophies and social systems that go right back to racism. So don't feel like we're better off simply because our oppressors don't seem to be white or white police officers. We know said rampant in Jamaica. Don't get it twisted. So every time you put up a fist and you go, Black Lives Matter, please make sure you say stop racism. Also put stop classism, stop colorism that we know exists here in Jamaica. I backed off of social media for a while because it was heavy. I went on last night to Twitter and I saw tweets saying, it happened when I was 7, 9. One girl said 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And a lump came in my throat because I said to myself, I know exactly what these women are talking about. These were survivors of sexual abuse, and maybe you've seen them on your timeline on Twitter, or you've seen them on your timeline in on Instagram. And for some people, you might be saying, how are this I go now? We're tired of hearing about so much. It's the same principle. The survivors of sexual abuse are victims because one entity that was in a position of authority, control, and power looked at another entity and decided based on gender, based on age, based on a lot of social systems that this person can be taken advantage of. Do not believe for 1 second that all of these things are separated. They're all offshoots of persons looking at other persons and oppressing in some way, shape, or form. I personally do not know what it is to be sexually abused, but I know way too many women and girls who have been. Worse, with corona, that has served as a cloak and a mask to hide predators in plain view. We have girls, we have boys, we have children, we have women, we have young teens who are in homes right now being abused by people who are in a position of power and authority and control to do that. And when they come out and they cry, they're crying for attention. Just like those of us who are crying to say, respect us and our color. These women are also saying, these are the things that happen to us, and we need to respect us for who we are, and that we need to respect that our bodies are our own. I am so sorry that these women had to go through, and these girls and these boys. You had some men who admitted to being raped as well. It takes a lot of courage to do that, because now it opens themselves to persons who are similar to those who are talking about, I don't see color. Racism doesn't exist. It's all in your mind. So all of those people who try to kind of discredit the movement, when you come out and you say something that is insensitive to people who are victims of sexual abuse, you sound just like those people. And I'm just bringing it all together because sometimes we feel like we can say something over this side and it has nothing to do with that side over there. Am I telling you that you have to believe everybody who says that they're a victim of sexual abuse? I'm not telling you that. What I'm asking you to do is to respect what they're saying, though. Empathize with what they might have gone through. Ask, how would you feel if you were in their position? And for those persons who are not yet at the stage where they can speak about something publicly, because you don't have to speak about your sexual abuse issue publicly. But if you are now triggered because of all of this conversation, it's now going to take you back to a place where you experienced it, that makes you remember your violation all over again, especially if you are someone who's either had suicidal thoughts, or maybe you started cutting and you were doing other things to self-harm. Or just know that I love you. Know that you never deserve it. You don't deserve it then, you don't deserve it now. And if anybody is online being abusive and insensitive, don't take it on. That's not on you. That's their ignorance. That's their self-hatred. That's them projecting their insecurities on you. Do what you can to heal. Get the help that you need the help that you want, whether it is legal, psychological, emotional, physical. Get the help you need. And finally, our children, because I opened my app and there was a story about a 17-year-old who had killed herself right here in Jamaica. In all of this that's going on, as adults, we are feeling this heaviness. We're feeling the stress. Our children are feeling the very same thing. It may not look the way you think it looks. They feel the same way. They are exposed to the same image, the same images, the same messaging, the cyberbullying. They are exposed to it. Now is not the time to isolate your children who are more isolated now because of Corona. Now is not the time to look on your children and say, where you stressed about? You pay bills? You lose your job? That's not the way. That's not the way. You need to be having conversations. You need to be asking them, how are you feeling today? Is there anything you'd like to talk about? If with everything that's going on in the world, is there any questions that you may have? Do you have an opinion? Give them space. Give them room to talk. Dig. Ask the same question 3 million different times. Ask them at different times of the day. Ask them in a relaxed mood. Ask them at the table. Ask them. If you do not create an environment to speak to your kids, for them to feel comfortable enough to say, Mom, I am hurting. Them feeling all kinds of emotions that they don't even know how to articulate and they don't even know how to process. The last thing they need is for you to basically tell them or show them that their emotions are not valid. It's such a heavy time. It's such a heavy time. There's so much more I want to say, but I don't think I can really, I don't think I have been articulating it the way that I needed to. But I needed people to understand that in this life, and if there's one thing Corona has taught us, is that we're all connected. We're all connected. Don't separate yourself or your circumstance, or because you're in a position of privilege, you find it unnecessary to be an ally. For the companies who are coming out and leaving ads and putting all of this, things into the space and messages into the space, or you companies, if you do not stand for racial injustice, and if you stand for diversity and inclusion, it means that things like, oh, your natural hair is unprofessional, need to stop. Oh yeah. It means that, more women need to be in places where they're supposed to be. If they earned it and they deserve to be there, put them there. Oh, paying women what they're supposed to be paid. Oh, looking at that black guy who may live at a ghetto area but has come in with a resume trying to better himself, and you look at the address and say, we do not want the likes of him here. You can't be performative. You can't be doing this for show. You actually have to be transformative. You actually have to want change, which means that for you companies, it's not just about a square, it's about policies. The same thing goes for schools. People who want to vet families, colors, classes. And for you black people who might be benefiting from these amazing hierarchies and these lovely classes systems, we see you. You're not really business about other people because you're one of them. You'll never be one of them. You'll never. No matter how much money you have, you will never be one of them. So don't do that whole black square thing when you know right now you just made a joke with your friend about somebody being black, ugly, poor, and you put all of them in the one space because that's how you view black people. So time is going to tell. Time is going to show. Watch and wait. But while you watch and you wait, you prepare. I want to big up all my black-owned small businesses that I support. I want to big up all of those businesses that I support, because you can't be saying one thing and doing another. Yeah? Big up to all the parents who are investing, and they're not just investing for themselves, but they're investing and they're creating portfolios for their kids because they're trying to create generational wealth. Big ups to all those people who already realize that, yo, you have to educate yourself and you have to make that money and you have to be the change that you want to see. If we're not trying to do that as a people, and if we're not trying to show that to our kids as a people and a community, we are going to be marching, protesting, rioting, and looting forever. We shall create our own spaces. We're going to write our own books, right? Have our own schools, right? Teach our children about real history, right? We're going to affirm our boys and our girls about their worth and their value, right? We're going to stop killing each other, right? We're going to stop looking at our young girls, right? Raping them, taking their bodies, taking what is not yours, and setting them 400 years back. If you're doing that to our black girls and our black women, you are no different than the oppressor. So don't come and talk about empowerment and all of these things if you're not actually willing to change and put the things in order. If you've never voted, I've never voted in my life. Get out there and vote. I will be voting for the first time. We can't just talk, we also have to do. And wherever you see the systems that are upholding a certain level of injustice, don't turn your eye. Don't walk away. Say something. I don't think there's any more I can say right now, or I'm going to probably bust out crying, which I don't want to do. Be kind. And if you see somebody suffering in the space, whether it be virtually or physically, be kind. And even if you don't understand, because maybe you've never experienced it, it doesn't mean that you cannot empathize. So with all the isms and the isms and the isms and the isms, just remember that they're all very much related.
Welcome back. And as we begin, we should be asking ourselves, what is racism? What is colorism? What is classism? Because us as black people, or let's say, according to this video, Jamaicans, they are saying that if somebody has been racially abused in the States of America, that is the problem of the Americans. But 7 million people, 7 million Jamaican people are living in the States, maybe working or even going through scholarship. So many sort of things they are doing there in the United States. 2.7 million are here in Jamaica, but they are saying that if somebody has been racially abused in America, that's their own problem. They shouldn't be involved in that. While where Jamaicans are seated back in their country, racially and abusing each other. Classism, colorism, abusing each other, that is not good. My point is, if you think that you are a light skin than the other dark person, you are still a Jamaican. You are still a black person. The thing is that you have a lighter skin and the other one has a dark skin. You are still a black person. We should be coming together and supporting each other and thinking of what we should be doing that may help our community, that may help our brothers and sisters who are abroad, who are being racially abused. We should be speaking out our mind, standing together and supporting each other through what is going on. in this world right now. People are being abused everywhere in each and every country, but because you are not being abused, you are just seated and saying nothing. We should be coming together, and even here in Africa, there is classism, there is colorism. Those who are light skinned tend to see themselves as gives themselves class. They see the dark skinned people as minors, but that they are the majority. No, it shouldn't work like that. We are all black people, and we should support each other no matter what. No matter whatever happens, we should be for each other. Uh, our lady here tells us that Jamaicans are raping young ladies. These are the things that used to happen during that used to be done by the colonialists back during the slavery period, and that is not good. That is not a good thing. The slavers used to take our ladies, our young ladies, our mothers, our sisters, raping them, and then you, as a black person, you're still going to rape your neighbor, somebody's aunt, somebody's mother, somebody's sister. If you are doing this to one another, what do you think? That is still slavery. What do you think you're putting on the other person's mind? That is not a good thing. We should be coming together, supporting one another. If somebody offends this other person by maybe raping him or her, we should be taking action and standing for one another. That is not a good thing. All I can say is that Jamaicans should be coming together and standing and saying that no to racism, no to classism, no to colorism, mainly colorism in Jamaica. If you are light skinned, doesn't mean that you'll be white. You are a white person. When you go to America, you still be a black person. You be a black person. No matter how light skinned your skin is, no matter how browny your skin is. Here in Kenya, we call them Ayela because they have a yellow skin tone. We call them Ayela. No matter how Ayela you are, you'll never be a white person. All you can do is support the other black person. He's black like you. Thank you for watching today's video, and hope you'll be there for the next video. And my YouTube channel is at Nairo Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.